preferably eliminate any preamble so that more members can be recognized for their questions. Let's see how this works with Cypress Medicine Hat, followed by Lecture Lake.
Earlier this session, I questioned the Minister of Environment on Bill 36 and how it diminishes the rights and property values of Albertans. He said Bill 36 is a fair piece of legislation and will not be repealed. This, despite the fact that Bill 36 blocks a landowner's rights to access the court when the government runs roughshod. To the Minister, let's take this one important step at a time. Will you repeal Section 13.1 of Bill 36 that prevents landowners from having access to the courts? And if not, why not?
Mr. Speaker, the regional plans that are developed under the Alberta Land Stewardship Act do not change or alter property rights or freehold mineral rights in Alberta. The Alberta Land Stewardship Act contains a clear statement that government must respect the property rights of individuals, and it continues to have in place the existing rights to compensation under the Water Act, the Public Lands Act, and the Mines and Minerals Act, Mr. Speaker.
For a supplemental.
Clearly says no access to the courts. Given the Environment Minister clearly stated, and I quote, "We will not repeal Bill 36, and considering he believes that Bill 1 is the saving grace for this government on property rights, will the Minister now be brave enough to steal more policies from the Wildrose by admitting the faults of Bill 36 and repeal Section 15.3b, which prevents a claim being exercised by any Albertan? And if not, why not?"
Mr. Speaker, Alberta is committed to being a responsible development of energy, and part of that is the land use framework that was put in place by legislation that was passed by this legislature a few years ago. Mr. Speaker, we're committed to that legislation, and I would suggest if the member has any examples of individuals that have lost their property rights through this piece of legislation to bring them forward to my office.
17 Wildrose MLAs is why we don't have any examples of that. Given the most controversial and devious section of Bill 36 is 17.4, which outlines that if there is a conflict or inconsistency between the Land Stewardship Act and any other enactment, this Act prevails, essentially giving Bill 36 the ability to trump all other acts and extinguish property rights. Will the Minister do the right thing by property owners and repeal Section 17.4? And if not, why not?
Mr. Speaker, I thought that was a puffball for a second, but we won't go into the math there. But again, this government is committed to being responsible developers of our energy and natural resource stewards. This province is growing. There's competing demands on our landscape for residential, growing communities, oil and gas development, forestry, agriculture, and we needed this piece of legislation to go in and provide some thoughtful planning about how we manage that, because the landscape on this province isn't growing.